Jeopardy! Host Ken Jennings has fans raging when he let a contestant break a vital rule. This is something that rubs viewers the wrong way when it happens. So, what exactly happened? Read on for more details on the entire situation. Ken Jennings has given Jeopardy! Contestants grace at times, and this does not sit well with viewers at home. There have been instances when contestants have been in Final Jeopardy, but their handwriting has been illegible. It then becomes a question of if they wrote the right answer or not based on who can read it. Yet, one cardinal rule of the game is how one answers. It must always be in the form of a question such as who is or what is. If this does not happen, then the answer should not be accepted, and with good reason. Now, according to The Sun, a recent contestant, Ben Chan, was on the show. This is the clue that he was given. Covering around 300 square miles in Wiltshire County, England, this plain is known for its monuments including Stonehenge. To that, he answered this: Salisbury. Of course, that was not in the form of a question, so he should have been wrong. Apparently, he said, "What's Salisbury?" But no one could hear the first part. The fact that Ben was considered right for this had viewers in an uprising. However, some viewers believed that Ben Chan said it correctly, but only people at home misheard him. They claimed that producers and Ken Jennings can hear much better in the studio. At the same time, those who doubted Ben was correct hope that this will be a learning experience for Jeopardy! In the future, the hope is that they will pay much more attention so this never happens again. Of course, some believe the show is rigged for entertainment. Yet, there are laws against rigging, so that is highly unlikely. Ken Jennings, the reigning Jeopardy! Champion and now a permanent host of the beloved trivia show, recently found himself at the center of an intense controversy that shocked fans and contestants alike. The normally composed and well-respected host made a decision that seemed to fly in the face of the rules the show is known for. By allowing a contestant to break a vital, long-standing rule, Jennings unleashed a wave of anger and confusion, not just from the studio audience, but also from the millions of fans tuning in from home. What happened, and why has this decision caused such an uproar? The integrity of Jeopardy! And its rules. For over 50 years, Jeopardy! Has built its reputation on being a high-stakes intellectual game where the rules are paramount. Contestants are expected to follow strict guidelines on how to respond to clues, the timing of their answers, and how they must phrase their responses. These rules are meant to keep the game fair and consistent, and most importantly, respectful to the legacy of the show. One of the most important and well-known rules in Jeopardy! Is the requirement to phrase answers in the form of a question. Contestants are not allowed to simply give a direct answer without this specific phrasing. Whether the answer is correct or incorrect, every response has to be given in the form of a question like, what is, or who is. This rule is one of the cornerstones of Jeopardy! Its identity. It is so ingrained in the show's culture that viewers almost expect it to be followed without question. It's even become a catchphrase in popular culture, with fans playfully imitating the famous "what is" in conversation. Therefore, when Ken Jennings, a fan favorite host and beloved former champion, allowed a contestant to break this rule, the moment became a hot topic for debate. The incident, a controversial moment on air. The incident in question occurred during a high-stakes episode of Jeopardy! When the stakes were particularly high. The contestant in question was performing well, riding a wave of confidence and delivering strong performances in the earlier rounds. As the game entered its final round, tensions were high, and every clue seemed like it could make or break a contestant's chance at victory. The moment that would set the stage for the controversy came during Final Jeopardy! The clue was difficult, as they often are in this round, and the contestants were already on edge. The category was something obscure, perhaps a historical question or a rare bit of pop culture trivia, and one contestant, eager to answer quickly, jumped the gun. Instead of phrasing the answer in the traditional "what is" or "who is" format, the contestant blurted out an answer in a more casual, conversational manner. Under normal circumstances, this would have been a straightforward instance of a rule violation, resulting in an immediate correction from the host or an automatic disqualification of the answer. However, To the surprise of both the contestant and the audience, Ken Jennings allowed the answer to stand without a word of correction. This shocking moment left the audience stunned and confused. Ken Jennings' decision. A controversial choice. Why did Ken Jennings let this happen? In the moment, it appeared to be an accidental oversight, as Jennings smiled and nodded without acknowledging the rule violation. Some might argue that it was a simple mistake or a lapse in judgment. After all, Jennings is known for being a compassionate and understanding host, often showing empathy toward contestants during moments of stress and pressure. But as the camera zoomed in on his face, it was clear that he wasn't angry or upset about the breach. In fact, he seemed to let it slide without hesitation, a decision that has baffled fans and critics alike. While it may have seemed like a harmless mistake in the heat of the moment, this particular rule is one that Jeopardy! Fans hold dear. It's a part of the show's identity, and seeing it violated on air left many feeling like the integrity of the game had been compromised. The fan reaction, outrage and disbelief. The fallout from this moment was immediate and intense. Fans took to social media platforms, eager to express their outrage at Jennings' decision to let the contestant break a critical rule. Twitter exploded with comments like, "Did Ken Jennings just let a contestant break the Jeopardy! Rule? That's not how the game works. Where's the consistency?" At Jeopardy Fanatic, "I love Ken Jennings, but letting that rule slide? Unacceptable. No exceptions, no matter who you are." At Trivia Guru, "Jeopardy needs to enforce the rules. It's not just about the questions, it's about the integrity of the game." At Rule Enforcer 88, the reactions weren't just from casual fans. Many dedicated Jeopardy! Enthusiasts who have watched the show for decades voiced their displeasure as well. Some argued that this was an example of favoritism toward the contestant, while others claimed that it was a sign of the show's quality slipping over time. The moment you start bending the rules, you've lost the essence of what made Jeopardy! Great, said one fan on Reddit. The show has always been about fairness and respect for the game. Allowing this mistake to slide sends the wrong message. This wasn't just a case of a single viewer expressing frustration. Soon, the issue spread across online forums, TV review sites, and even Reddit, where discussions on the ethics of the show became heated. Fans began questioning whether this incident was indicative of a larger problem at Jeopardy! A show that had always prided itself on being the gold standard of trivia game shows. Ken Jennings' response: a public apology? Amid the backlash, Ken Jennings addressed the issue on his social media platforms. In a candid post, he explained that he was aware of the rule violation, but had chosen to handle the situation in a more lenient manner than fans might have expected. His reasoning? He noted that he wanted to give the contestant the benefit of the doubt and was empathetic toward their nerves in such a high-pressure environment. "I'm human, and I understand that mistakes happen, especially in the heat of the moment," Jennings wrote. "In this instance, I chose to move forward with the game rather than stop it for a minor rule infraction. My goal is always to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and while I understand some of you may disagree with my choice, I stand by my decision in the moment." While some fans appreciated his transparency, others were still unconvinced. This isn't just about empathy. It's about preserving the integrity of the game, one user responded. The aftermath: long-term consequences for Jeopardy! While the incident itself may have been relatively small in the grand scheme of Jeopardy! As history, it raised larger questions about the direction of the show moving forward. If the rules are allowed to be bent or broken once, will it set a precedent for future episodes? Fans have already expressed concern that this could be the beginning of a trend that erodes the very foundation of the show. In the wake of the controversy, there have been calls for stricter enforcement of the rules and greater consistency from the host. Some viewers even suggested that Jeopardy! Should implement a system of penalties for contestants who break the rules, ensuring that such incidents never happen again.